A lost love that's reunited. I recently relocated to the beautiful Emerald City, Seattle, Washington. I was excited for a fresh start, to be able to reset with a new beginning.
I landed a great job in the financial banking arena for JP Morgan Chase Bank. I was a contract specialist. I had finally left behind a bad relationship that had run its course. I found a wonderful place to live on top of Capitol Hill with a spectacular view of the city, breathtaking during the day, and Seattle glistering at night. I was no way looking for another relationship, yet one found me. My sister Faye had a best friend named Velma, who was known for finding everyone a job, helping the needy, and matchmaking. Velma set me up on a blind date with a guy in the military stationed at Fort Lewis Army Base, McChord Air Force Base. I met the young man named Lieutenant Stephen Atkins, and he was quite handsome. But the one mistake Lieutenant Atkins made was bringing his comrade, Sergeant Major Leandre Wood, with him to meet me. I called a friend over named Deidre. As we introduced ourselves, we discovered that Deidre, Sergeant, and I were all from the same state in the United States. In fact, Sergeant Wood and I grew up 22 miles apart from each other in small rural towns. One might call this fate. I found myself more interested in Sergeant Wood, and it appeared that Sergeant Wood also liked me. Leandre talked to Lieutenant Atkins about the situation, informing him that he was interested in me. Lieutenant Atkins had no objections. After that, Leandre and I started seeing each other. Leandre truly was a good man. Warm, caring, loving, thoughtful, and full of joy. He always had a smile on his face. He would light up when he saw me. I did not realize at the time the joy that I brought to his life. He did adore me and lavished me with sweet gifts and little forget-me-nots. We enjoyed being together, going to dinner, concerts, and enjoying the great Northwest in all of its beauty and splendor. When I met Leandre, he had already been stationed in Washington for a couple of years. As time went on, our relationship grew and deepened. Seattle's rain and cold for the winter season were coming to an end. We were looking forward to the summer. This particular summer, I was going home down south for my family reunion. I had a dilemma. Leandre's birthday was also on July 4th, the same time as the family reunion. I was torn between the two, but I came up with a plan. I arranged for my best friend Jennifer to deliver his birthday presents to him. I bought him everything I knew would make him happy, even his favorite German beer. Previously, he was stationed in Germany. He was elated. He couldn't wait to see me. But my trip home had brought about a change within me. I did not see my ex-fiancé, whom I left when I relocated, nor did I want to. But I did see my first love, Destin. Destin and I had loved each other since 6th grade. We just always stayed connected. By the time I returned to Seattle, my feelings had changed, and I was totally confused. Don't ever let anyone tell you that soul ties are not real, because they are. God made us that way, because we are supposed to have one mate. This is how we are tied to each other. I felt like I was in love with two men, one from the past and one in the present. Actually, I didn't want to commit to either. I made excuses for about a week with Leandre. Then I started to distance myself from him. I had no idea things were changing in Leandro's life at well during that time. Leandro had received orders from the military. He was being sent back to Germany. He was upset about his orders and distraught about my recent behavior. Leandre would sleep in his car in my apartment parking garage. He was trying to figure out what was going on. I knew this was not fair to him. We finally stopped communicating. I didn't hear from him for a while. I assumed he had gone back to Germany. But one day, months later, I was in an Uber. I saw him from a distance, not far from my home. That was the last time I saw him.
I changed because during this time, I began to be part of the women empowerment movement. Living the single life was more of a thing, and rap music was on the rise with so many influences. I was just finding my voice. I wanted to travel the world and just be free. I didn't go back to Destin, I didn't go back to my ex-fiancé, and I couldn't commit to Leandre. After Leandre left, Seattle wasn't the same for me. I was tired of the rain, the cold, little or no sunshine, and the family wasn't so loving. I just knew it was more to life than what I was living there. So I decided to move back down south. I wanted to continue my education and work part-time in banking. I changed my major to criminal justice, graduated from college, and pursued a master's degree in public administration. I accepted Jesus Christ into my life. I worked in my field of law enforcement, intelligence, and investigations. Leandra rarely crossed my mind. Then, one day, it happened. Our lives collided once again. It was on a Saturday, on a beautiful sunny day. I was in my hometown of Franklinton to help host my niece Ebony baby shower. The baby shower was being held at a reception hall. The reception hall owner had a barber shop at the end of the building, down the walk from the hall. I went to the barber shop to retrieve the hall door key. I walked in. A man dressed in military fatigues was sitting in a barber chair, staring back at me. Neither of us said a word to each other. As I left the barber shop, I questioned myself. Was that Leandre? I dismissed it because I said, that's impossible. The remainder of that weekend, I tried to convince myself that it was totally impossible. The last time I saw Leandre was years ago, and he was on his way back to Germany. The rest of that weekend, I struggled with the thoughts. What if it was him? At the time I was working as an investigator, Monday morning could not get here fast enough. I got to work on that Monday morning. I started my search for Leandra Wood. I had looked for him before, but to no avail could I locate him. But now, technology had changed, and there were more resources to use. That day, it was easy to locate him. He had an address in his hometown and a post office box. I wrote him a note and mailed it to the post office box. I told him who I was, Destiny. I told him that I thought I seen him in my hometown on that Saturday, and if it was him, to please contact me. A few days passed, and I received a call from him. We were both excited to talk to each other. I asked him what in the world he was doing in Franklinton. He explained that he was part of the National Guard unit in that area. He went on to tell me that he looked for me. He went to where I used to live in Seattle, Washington, on Capitol Hill. Then he told me that he came to my hometown, Franklinton, when he was on leave from Germany, and every person he spoke to did not know me. Leandre said he even asked the people in the barber shop, "Is that Destiny Bell?" And they said, no. They thought I was one of my nieces named Kita. As we were catching up, he told me that he had gotten shot and was sent back to Fort Polk. Then wait for it. Here it comes. He told me he was married with 3 children. I totally understood. So much time had passed. I was happy for him. I loved him enough that I wanted him to be living a happy life. I threw myself into my career and my spiritual calling. Leandre suggested we go to lunch, but I declined. We both needed closure, and we finally got it. I still say he was the one that got away. Even now, when I look back over my life experiences, I wish I knew then what I know now. I would have made some different choices. I do believe that God is bigger than any what if or regret we all have in our lives. I know for sure, if Leandre was supposed to be my husband, he would have been my husband, if that was part of God's plan for us. My time with Leandre was beautiful. In my youth, I was still trying to figure things out. Leandre was already on his life path. He knew what he wanted and where he was going. I owe this reunited love to my great-great-nephew, whose baby shower was being held. His name is Makai. He's 17 years old now and graduating from high school. Makai helped me finally know that a man I loved dearly was doing well. There are times when I pass through Leandre's hometown to reach my hometown, I see the sign that say Franklinton is 22 miles. An image of us momentarily may pop up in my mind. The end. In loving memory of Velma Redwine Cummins, 2015.